You ready? Did you get your burp out? Get your burp out, get your burp out, get your burp out, ACHARA, get your burp out, get your burp out, get your burp out, ACHARA.
Too much pressure.
You're like a little baby with a big head.
I got a funny feeling. I got a funny feeling. Yeah.
Hello people, I am Jaby KOAY, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
Hello.
We've got another Carryminati video here. This one is called The Art of Bad Words.
Ooh,
So,
I like bad words.
Yeah. Actually, my good friend from India just discovered your meme.
Oh yes.
For those of you that don't know, ACHARA has a meme of her saying, Chuttiya.
Chuttiya.
Yeah. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that a bitch?
Ba-da-bum.
Thank you, Carryminati, for allowing us to react to this. At least, I think you're allowing us to react to this based on history and based on the fact that you haven't told me it's not okay. So, yes.
Thank you.
We're gonna proceed forward here. And we have subtitles thanks to
Humorous love.
Humorous Love. I almost had Tommy Agarwal because in a panic I emailed him going, please subtitles, and then ACHARA's like, I got it already. Calm down, teacher. Oh, one thing before we jump into this, if you like to leave comments, we are gonna look at comments right after this from the previous Carryminati reaction that we did. Just gonna respond to some of the top comments. Okay, here we go. Very religious sounding music.
तो कैसे हैं आप लोग? सुप्रभात भोसड़ी वालों, आज मैं बात करने जा रहा हूँ शब्दों की। कुछ ऐसे शब्द जो बाकी शब्दों से बिल्कुल अलग हैं। ये शब्द आकर्षक भी है, खतरनाक भी, और इन्हीं दो तरीकों से लोग इनका इस्तेमाल करते हैं। लेकिन इन शब्दों के बीच हमेशा एक पहचान का खेल चलता रहता है कि कौन आकर्षक है और कौन खतरनाक। ये खेल इतना उलझा हुआ है कि किसी को एक शब्द खतरनाक लगता है तो किसी को आकर्षक। तो आओ यार, बिन बात के किसी की गांड में उंगली करना बंद करो और शुरू करते हैं बिना किसी बॉलीवुड के।
Wow.
अब तुम मानो ना मानो, गालियां हमारा ध्यान अपनी तरफ खींचती हैं। ऐसे समझो, एक स्टेज है जिस पे कुछ शब्द नाच रहे हैं और जनता उन्हें देख के खुश हो रही है, लेकिन अचानक स्टेज पे एक गांडू आ जाता है और बाकी शब्द जैसे गायब ही हो जाते हैं। अब कोई उस गांडू को देख के खुश हो रहा है कि वाह क्या गांडू है, बबूला का बुबालू फट रहा है कि ये गांडू यहाँ कैसे आ गया। लेकिन सबका ध्यान सिर्फ और सिर्फ उस गांडू पे है। अब ये गांडू आकर्षक है कि खतरनाक, बस इसी चीज की लड़ाई है इन शब्दों की। तो मैं वो गांडू नहीं हूँ, फालतू कनेक्ट मत मारो। लोग कहते हैं गालियों से पैसे कमा रहा है। पैसों से याद आया, ये है मीवी के डुओपॉड्स M40। साउंड क्वालिटी तो बढ़िया है ही, पर बेस पूरा कान वाइब्रेट कर देता है। अपने केस में बैठे बैठे चार्ज हो जाते हैं। ये पंख जैसे हल्के, इन्हें तुम कहीं भी लेके जा सकते हो और अपना सर तुम कितना ही
This is the strangest product placement I've ever seen.
मीवी इंडियन ब्रांड है। पीछे इफेक्ट सुन रहे हो? मैंने डाला, मैंने। सही है ना? रोस्ट भी कर दिया, पैसे भी कमा लिए हैं? अब जब तुम किसी से बात करते हो तो तुम्हारी भावनाओं का मिलन होता है। शब्द तो बस एक जरिया है। गालियों का मतलब बुरा ही होता है, इसमें कोई शक नहीं है, पर ये कहानी यहाँ खत्म नहीं हो जाती। एक चीज होती है स्लैंग, जो कि खुद में ही एक भाषा है। इसमें शब्द वही इस्तेमाल होते हैं पर उनका मतलब कुछ अलग ही निकलता है। आज की डेट में गालियां भी स्लैंग्स की तरह इस्तेमाल की जाती हैं। अब अगर मैं बोलूं विराट कोहली ने मैच में बात चोद दी, इससे मेरा क्या मतलब है? मैच की मम्मी के साथ विराट ने सेक्स कर लिया या फिर विराट बहुत अच्छा खेला? खैर, जब तुम गालियों को ऐसे इस्तेमाल करते हो तब वो विकसित होकर स्लैंग बन जाती है। स्लैंग बन जाती है, स्लैंग बन जाती है। समझ में आ रहा है? लेकिन तब भी गलत 90% है। अच्छा चलो मैं तुमसे पूछता हूँ, क्या तुमने कभी लंड की सवारी की है?
If you're going to do it right. With Lund. Premium style, lasting performance.
Oh my God.
Dear.
I was just talking about this with...
We are here with Rich Vogel, the president and CEO of Lund. And I think you want to tell us a little bit about something exciting that's been happening with Lund of late, hasn't it?
It's thicker, it's stronger, has better characteristics. For
See, that's what I was talking about with the Randy name.
Yeah.
अभी कॉन्टेक्स्ट समझो, सालो वीडियो निकल गई। एक तो YouTube है ना, वो तो मर चुका है। अब बस YouTube ही बचा है, जो कि मेरी एक्स जैसा हो गया है। मैसेज नहीं पढ़े जाते हैं, कॉल नहीं उठते हैं, और जब कभी कभी रात को यादें आ जाती है तो ये गाना सुनना पड़ता है। अब इनके आर्टिकल आ जाएंगे। We have strict policies that prohibit harassment on YouTube, including using malicious insults. We Quickly remove content that violates these policies. Policies.
It is confusing.
Yeah.
जाएगा इतना कमजोर सिस्टम है तुम्हारा लंड की सवारी तो तुम ही कर रहे हो और मैं गाड़ी की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ अब गालियों का चाहे कुछ मतलब निकले कुछ लोगों को ये शब्द हजम ही नहीं होते उनकी छींची थू हो जाती है ये लोग ज्यादातर हमारे माँ बाप के जमाने के लोग हैं उस जमाने के हिसाब से जो गाली देता है वो पाताल लोक का सेवक शैतान का प्रेमी हैवान का आखिरी बीज अरे एलुमिनाटी है भोसड़ी का याद रहे ये वही जमाना है जब बिल्ली सही में रास्ता काट जाती थी ये वही जमाना है जब बच्चों को डंडों से कूटा जाता था स्कूल में भी घर में भी और पड़ोस में भी लेकिन यार ये लोग बहुत बढ़िया है ये बोलने में कम करने में ज्यादा विश्वास रखते हैं इसलिए बातें बाद में शादी पहले ये सोफिस्टिकेटेड लोग समझाते भी बहुत बढ़िया है इनका ना आए तो ये वही शब्द और जोर से बोलते हैं जिनसे इनकी जिंदगी की सारी समस्याएं खत्म हो जाती हैं अगर तुम्हें लगता है ये अपने टाइम में शरीफ थे साफ चूतिया काटा गया तुम्हारा इनने दूरदर्शन नहीं देखा सिर्फ इनसे पूछो ये क्या है ये मैडम कौन है इन्हें नॉस्टैल्जिया हो जाएगा जमाना बदलता है इंसान की फितरत नहीं पहले पॉर्न मैगजीन में मिलती थी और अब यूट्यूब पे मिल जाती है अब कुछ ज्ञानी इंटेलेक्चुअल चालाक निवास के सिपाही जिनने LLB, IIT, MBBS, MD, MDMA, LSD सब कुछ साथ में कर रखा है इनके हिसाब से जो गाली देता है वो एक आधा जानवर है जिसके पास शब्द ही नहीं है इससे पता चलता है ये कितने समझदार हैं जब चार दोस्त साथ में बैठे होते हैं तो गाली पानी की तरह बहती है इसके पीछे एक बहुत ही गहरा गूढ़ अतल स्पर्शी कारण है ताकि मजा मार सके जो बकचोदी काट सके वो दोस्ती क्या जिसे चूतिया ना कहा जा सके जरूरी नहीं है हर गतिविधि कर्मता एक्टिविटी के पीछे एक मिशन हो इंसान बिना किसी तात्पर्य अभिप्राय आश्रय मतलब के भी मौज मार सकता है लेकिन ये समझने के लिए कुछ ज्यादा ही बुद्धिमान है इनके लिए तुम गधे हो मैं गधा हूँ पूरी दुनिया गधों से भरी है और ये मानने का इन्होंने खुद को अधिकार दे रखा है क्योंकि सूर्य की सबसे पहली किरण इनकी ही शानी गांठ पे पड़ती है अब एक व्यक्ति जिसने पूरा दिन काम किया है और घर आते आते उसकी हालत मरने जैसी हो गई अगर उससे पूछा जाए कि तुम्हारा दिन कैसा था तो उसके पास जवाब देने के दो तरीके हैं पहला
कलयुग का ये अद्भुत दिन मेरे लिए इतना संघर्षपूर्ण और हताश रहा कि जलपान करने का अवसर ही प्रकट नहीं हुआ
दूसरा आज गांड फट गई बहन दोनों को मतलब वही है पर तुम्हें फालतू शब्द बोलने की फेटिश है तो उसमें कोई क्या करे जो लोग इन ज्ञानियों को सुनते हैं उन्हें अपने और अपने फैसलों पे बिल्कुल भरोसा नहीं है तुम संवेदनशील अशंकित असुरक्षित इनसिक्योर हो प्रायवाची की माँ की चूत लेकिन इनका दर्द भी मैं समझ सकता हूँ जब तुम इतने साल मेहनत करके पढ़ाई करते हो अपना ज्ञान बढ़ाते हो और फिर तुम्हें कोई नेशनल टीवी पे मादर चोट कह देता है
बुरा लगता है भाई आप लोग भी जानते हो भाई भाई समझ के बोल रहा हूँ यार दिल से लगता है भाई आप समझ ही सकते होंगे
चलो यार बस आज के लिए बहुत ज्ञान चोद लिया मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ तुम्हें ये वीडियो समझ में आ गई होगी आओ एक छोटा सा टेस्ट कर लेते हैं क्या इस वीडियो से मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि अपने घर में भैंचोद करते हुए फुदकते रहो नहीं ऐसे करोगे तो तुम्हारा बाप तुम्हें चाइनीज माल समझ के बैन कर देगा क्या इस वीडियो से मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि जाओ लोगों को जाके भर के गालियां दो नहीं डिस्क्लेमर क्यों नहीं पड़ता कोई वो ना तीसरे बच्चे जैसा है जिससे कोई उम्मीद नहीं है कोई आशा नहीं है बस सजावट के लिए लगा रखा है अब अगर तुम्हें वीडियो पसंद आई तो लाइक मारो एम करते हैं 4 मिलियन लाइक्स के लिए सही बताऊं तो अभी मुझे भी नहीं पता क्या हिसाब चल रहा है और तुम्हें पता है मूवी की सेल चल रही है अरे बस यार बस हो गया ये डुओ पॉड्स मेरे फेवरेट बन चुके हैं अगर तुम्हें भी ईयरफोन्स या हेडफोन्स की जरूरत है तो movie.in पे जाओ और फटाफट देख लो डुओ पॉड्स और बाकियों पे 50% तक ऑफ चल रहा है डिस्क्रिप्शन में लिंक भी हैगा अब अगर तुम लोग नए हो तो सब्सक्राइब करो वो जो लाल वाला बटन है उसके साथ सूर्य नमस्कार करो या फिर अनुलोम विलोम मुझे नहीं पता बस क्लिक हो जाना चाहिए अब मैं भी जा रहा हूँ मुझे बच्चों को गाली सिखानी है Bye.
I have a lot to say about this.
Okay. Which is funny because Love was like, I don't think you guys are going to get most of it.
Well, the crux of it is that he believes in the right to use certain words because it's how he expresses himself, and people who say that it's wrong to use those words consider themselves highfalutin, like sitting
highbrow,
on their, highbrow,
like
sitting on their high horse,
educated.
higher educated, and like they're sophisticated, and it's unsophisticated to use such language. It is the argument he's trying to fight against here, and the reason why is because a lot of people, well, this is just from my empirical evidence of people I've spoken to in India. A lot of people feel like because he uses so much profanity, it's just like cringy for them. They don't enjoy the fact that he cusses so much. But these same people can and I'm referring to a friend of mine and she knows I'm talking about her, these same people can use English bad words and it's perfectly fine. It's the Hindi bad words that bother them for some reason. And it's because it's closer to home, right? Which totally makes sense because like I'm fine with using Hindi bad words and it's not gonna mean anything to me. Like earlier in this video, I was citing an example, like, okay, he used the word lund, which means dick, right? But to us, that means nothing. Like I could say that to you and it's not gonna mean anything to you, right? Yeah. Or if I called you the R word, R-A-N-D-I or D-Y.
Randy.
Right, yeah, if I said that to you, it would mean nothing to us.
Is it Randy or is it Randy? Whatever.
In either case, it would mean nothing to us, but it would mean a lot to everybody watching, right? I get where he's coming from, and I'm of two minds about it. There's two sides, right? There's part of me that's in agreement with him, like you should be able to just use whatever words you want. 4 pals around, that's just gonna happen. Yeah. If you go to Boston, right? East Coast in general, any major city on the East Coast, they're cussing every other word.
Well, it's like he says, it's like a slang. The cussing is its own language.
Right.
That's just how you talk and how you relate to people.
And so I have people in close proximity to me who use F word every other word, right? And that's good for them. For me personally, I try not to abuse those words too much because I personally feel like okay, let's remove this from cussing. Let's say like Louis C.K.'s example of something is amazing. Like this ice cream is amazing. He goes, no, it tastes good. It's not amazing. Everyone's using top shelf words to describe simple things. What happens if Jesus Christ comes into your life and impregnates you? What are you gonna call that? How do you differentiate? Like that's amazing. Ice cream is not amazing, right? And so likewise with profanity, I try to reserve words for emphasis. Like I only want to use the F word, for instance, to really emphasize something. Now, sometimes I slip because I grew up with an Italian father from New York. I'll just use it more cavalier. But I try harder to reserve profanity, bad language, for emphasis, for effect, because then you notice it. Then it means something to you, as opposed to the person who's using it all the time, then it's meaningless and there is no effect.
I think the same goes for humor as well. Like sometimes I really do enjoy comedians who are very free and liberal with the F-bombs and the swearing and stuff, and they're very, very funny. But then again, there is a different level of comedian who is able to elicit those same laughs without using a single bad word, without having a single sex joke, and it's just like pure comedy, pure haha.
Well, 2 examples right off the top of my head is that Seinfeld, he doesn't ever use bad language. And I don't think he ever makes sex jokes. Bill Burr, his comedy isn't clean. Like he talks about sex, but he doesn't use that as a crutch, but he will cuss a lot. And he is my favorite comedian. And so I do have to like reconcile with that sometimes where I'm like, he's cussing a lot, but like I have to just be okay with it because his comedy is so good. To defend the other side, what he's talking about, my former best friend, Michael, he was of the mindset that cussing should be allowed to be it's just words. They only have the meaning that you assign them. So they're just words. So what's the big deal? And the big deal for me is the aforementioned that I just explained. But I get Michael's perspective, I get Carrie's perspective. It makes sense. They are just words. But for some reason, like, for me, it is important to have that discernibility between words, like to not make it common, because then when you use it, it means something. Just like the words, I love you, if you say that to somebody, if you just said it all the time, it loses its value. But if you reserved it for special moments or for particular people, then it has a greater effect.
I think it's also interesting that he's come back with this roast video, which is basically a roast on the whole situation that happened with his YouTube versus TikTok video.
YouTube's rules are so confusing.
Yeah, because he addresses that, and it is a lot about like the words, the language that he used, which caused him to have his video taken down, right? It's like you say, I get so confused with YouTube all the time because you'll tell me like, oh, like in that last trailer we did.
Live stream, actually. There was a live stream we did where they oh, you're talking about?
I'm talking about Yara, but yes, in the live stream as well, because in Yara there was like
the lovemaking scene.
A sex scene, which, to be fair, is a PG, like PG-13
Yeah, you could see that in a Bond movie.
Yeah, I was like, what? I've seen worse in music videos.
I've seen worse on daytime television.
Yeah, and so I don't understand why sometimes something like that will get us in trouble, or like a butt shot, when I'm like, have you not looked at a Nicki Minaj or Doja Cat video recently? Like,
well, we don't know if those are demonetized. They might not be because they just make such good money.
Yeah.
But we did a live stream the other day and people were sending me Instagram accounts that were saucy, and it was like women in thongs. Now, generally speaking, that's okay with most companies. Yahoo, I used to work at Yahoo many years ago, and that was okay. Like, as long as there's some article of clothing It's not nudity. Instagram has the same rule, and I suppose by extension Facebook.
Instagram only has an issue if you show nipples.
Even with butt shots, you can't just show a bare butt, generally speaking. I
think you can.
That's a new rule that I didn't know about, and
I don't know.
And yay, great. So, but YouTube is more strict in that regard, and our live stream got demonetized, is all I'm trying to say. Just because we flashed women's butts in thongs. And it's like, there's no context for it. Like, it was literally a blip, and I wasn't trying to emphasize, there was no emphasis placed on it, which is one of the rules about YouTube, is there emphasis placed on it. Like stuff you would see in Enter the Girl Dragon or his follow-up trailer where Climax. Like, there's emphasis placed on certain moments, and even the ones we blurred out where you can't see anything and there's no emphasis placed on it and the girl's far away, far in the distance.
Yeah.
It still got demonetized. It still got it still got hit with that yellow dollar sign. It's like really frustrating. One more thing I wanted to say about this is Tupac Shakur has a documentary some years back. I think it's called Tupac Resurrection. I'm not sure which one it is because he had a number of them. But in one of them, you hear Tupac asking this very question because Tupac was very, very smart.
He was very, very smart.
And he was comparing the words he would use, which was full of vulgarity, to the words of our forefathers, the American forefathers who founded the nation, etc. They would speak eloquently with their feather pen. He's speaking off the cuff, but like the meaning is the same.
Yeah.
But the language is fundamentally different, and one is crass, the other is not, or considered crass, while the other's not. And he was always confused about that. And he makes a point to discuss that if you guys are curious about Tupac, one of the like classic hip hop artists.
Yeah. So. Well, I think the thing here is that, at least to me, from what I've seen of Carry in his roasts and everything, I think he's a smart guy. He kind of looks at things in a really interesting way, in a way that I wouldn't necessarily have thought to look at the situation, and he always sheds like a fresh perspective, which I really appreciate. And yes, he uses a lot of swear words and a lot of vulgar language, but I'm not that bothered by it because ultimately the content is good. The message that he's putting out, it's in much the same way, like with Bill Burr, where he will use a bunch of swear words, but the story, the message, the intent that he's trying to put across is something that's really thought-provoking.
Right.
And so I don't mind it.
I agree with you. So we have comments here. We're gonna try to look at that real quick.
Yeah, this is from the Big Boss Part 2.
Deb Johnny Chuck Roborti says, Achara is so intelligent. I really like to listen to her POV. And she's right. Most of the time.
Well, thanks.
This is like such a boring comment now. It's all the time.
I can't help it.
It's all the time. Abdul Shazif, who is this guy that did the subtitles thingy? Man, I really appreciate his efforts.
Humor is love.
I saw that going a completely different direction for a second.
Oh, what?
Like, who is this guy that did the subtitles thingy? He's amazing.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Yasho Vardhan Gupta. It physically hurts me so much when so much of Carryminati's jokes get lost in translation for Jaby. Should get a helping hand for videos like these, like Mumita in the old days. I think it's just par for the course when you're watching Americans react to Indian stuff that they're not gonna get everything. That's sort of the point. It's not that they're going to get all the jokes because you don't need Americans for that. You can just look at Indian YouTubers for that, right? What you get Americans for, or foreigners in general, because there's a lot of them now, is what they do get is interesting. That to me is the interesting part, is what is universal, what cuts through borders, you know what I'm saying?
Or what is different that you might not have thought about before because someone with a different perspective is looking at it.
Right, that's another thing I hear a lot. There are comments I've heard repeatedly, which is, oh, I would have never seen it that way because of your perspective, you caught these things that most people here wouldn't have caught. Catched. God dang it, Divya Dut Ojha. Achara's looking like a Punjabi cootie.
I don't
Look
know
how she tied her hair.
How did I do my hair that day?
What's a cootie? I don't know. I mean, that's being young person or something, young girl or something or another. Oh, so the subtitles is getting lots of love.
Yeah.
Extremo Gaming says, I'm just here to appreciate the subtitles. Lucky Yadav, hats off to the subtitles dude. He did a phenomenal job. Jaby, hire him. He needs to be paid. Piyush Kumar, Jaby, KOAY is setting us up for dropping his interview with Carryminati. No, I'm not.
I wish.
I'm really not. I've put it out there. I've talked to him. People have talked to him. He's busy. Again, Vinayak Mishra. Achara proved that beauty and brains can come in same package. Why is she so perfect?
I'm not. Just ask Jaby, right? Right.
Here we go, this is a negative comment. Saint S, this is what happens when you look at the world through the eyes of an idiot. It turns Jaby into someone who laughs at something, someone without being fully aware of it. You are not like that, think about it. You are following the wrong people and reacting to videos solely on the basis of number of requests. I'm not asking you to ignore people's suggestions. Rather, I'm asking you to do a thorough research. This will help you to not only form a perspective, but reflect on things with a more logical eye. Take Big Boss as an example. You are forming an opinion about a show that has been running successfully for the last 13 years without doing even a tiny bit of research on it. If you had done some research, you would have known that the show is produced by Endemol, which also produces Big Brother. I'm not a big fan of this show myself, but I do watch occasional seasons and it does teach us a thing or two. The last season is termed as all-time greats, and the credit goes to a man named Siddharth Shukla, whose music video you've reacted to recently. What made him instant hit was his emotional intelligence, logical answers, his fight with his former co-star Rashmi and Asim, whom he considered as a brother, ability to understand every other housemates, and his fighting spirit when everybody was against him. If you'll do a bit more research, you will know that he's also one fear factor. Anyway, I'm posting a video like well. So here's Captain Right.
He's called Saint S.
I know.
By the way. Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know. He's a saint.
Why did you bring that up?
Well, because you said his name. It was a joke. It didn't land.
What? What was the joke?
Well, you said he was Captain Right.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, his name is Saint S. So he's a saint.
So you're making the joke?
I did, yes.
Okay.
It doesn't work.
If you only did more research on jokes, Achara, then you'd be able to understand the joke I was making better and be able to respond with a much better joke if you just did more research.
I'm so sorry.
There are links right here that you can click on so you can understand how to do jokes better.
Clicked. I mean, that's a fair point. We don't really do research before things. It's just like how it hits us.
Yeah,
in the raw. That's the whole premise.
That's always been the point. For this particular video, maybe research would be more applicable and more sensible. I had no idea though before going into it. I'm just going in. How is this gonna hit me raw? Someone who knows nothing about this stuff, how is it hitting me? And I think that premise is interesting. Saint S might not find it interesting, then I guess my videos are not for you. Like, because I just go in raw to see what captures me. Like, I don't do research before watching YouTube videos on YouTube. I go to YouTube like everybody else and I go, what's that? And I just start watching it. I don't stop it and go, I'm gonna fact check all this on Wikipedia and like do that for an hour. Now I'm qualified and educated enough to watch this video. Now we can enjoy it. Like, that's not how I go about things. A bunch of people suggested this. I'm always going off the audience. Whatever the audience thinks I will enjoy or they want to see my reaction to, I'm gonna go for it. That's what it's been from the beginning. I'm not deviating from that because I don't feel like it. There's two interesting comments here back to back. So Priyanshu Papal says, these guys are getting money just by laughing on someone else's video. Followed by Kashal Sisodia going, 2 minutes of silence for the people who missed Jaby's story. The reason I'm mentioning these comments is because Priyanshu is missing the fact that there's a lot of discussion following the video. Whether we get all the information or not, we take what we get from it and we have a review afterwards. A review is the easiest way to classify it. It's just it's a discussion, but there's creativity that goes into that. Like sometimes the discussions are edited in sort of just a normal fashion where there's not much that's changed. And that is all depending on how we feel case by case. Sometimes videos don't necessitate a whole bunch of fancy camera work, but sometimes it helps to emphasize jokes or helps to just shake things up. But other times it feels like it's just better like a podcast where you don't shake it up. Kashal Sisodia, I'm sorry man, obviously watched the entire video, which is not the case for most people. Like most people will click out by a certain point. Even with Philip DeFranco, I watch his videos all the way to the end, and he always says, for the three of you that are still here watching this, blah, 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 blah. Because most people check out of YouTube videos just because they have short attention span. Most people aren't watching this part right now. So if you're still here, awesome, thank you. Anyway, yeah, so there's a lot that you miss out on by not watching the entire video is Kaushal's point, because interesting stuff will come up. Like for instance, with the Avijit Jamal video that we dropped last night, I spent a lot of time editing that and I put a lot into that video. And if you left after the first 5 minutes, you missed out on all that cool shit. Yeah. Is ultimately the point I'm trying to make here. So there's a lot that goes into each video. It might look easy at the outset. You try doing it if you think it's easy and see how far you get. It's not easy. There's a lot of work that goes into this every single day. It looks easy, but it's not. I mean, it's easier than being like a coal miner.
Yeah,
or a construction worker.
It's easier than a lot of things.
It's easier than like laborious work, but you know.
But yeah, it still requires work.
It still requires work, yeah. So anyway, that was a lot of fun. Thank you, Carryminati, for allowing us to react to this. Yeah, it was an interesting conversation starter at the very least. It's a good topic, and I like
I learned some new swear words.
Yeah.
Lund.
I actually really liked the editing in this because it's just like this simple camera setup. I mean, he obviously splashed in some cool stuff, but he was doing a lot of manipulation. Yeah. What I consider PewDiePie style. I feel like PewDiePie was the first to really put forth that like crazy camera work style. I think that he did a lot with that in a very, very interesting way. So kudos to the editor if it wasn't Carry himself. Otherwise, kudos to Carry.